Greetings, everyone. My name is Todd Olson, CEO and co-founder of Pendo. It's my pleasure to join you today to talk a little bit more about how we can rethink product delivery in the age of being product-led. Now, people often ask me, what is a product-led organization? And a lot of people conflate, I think, product-led growth with a product-led organization. And I would contend that growth is a piece, of course, of an overall organization. But for me, product-led organization is pretty simple. It is an organization which puts product at the center of how they operate. Now, in becoming product-led, putting product at the center of your customer experience, well, it fundamentally requires you to rethink the way you deliver products. If you're delivering in the old way that is inspired and or influenced by CDs, you're not going to fully realize the benefits of being product-led. So I want to talk a little bit about how to decompose these different practices. And one of the first practices I want to talk about is launch, how we launch things, how we ship things. And of course, I want to think, beyond just the actual shipment of bits on a server or in customer hands, right? Now with the advent of cloud technologies and the fact that we can reach our customers and users with cloud technologies, we can do fun, interesting, different things, right? So you can have a process where you just ship code as fast as it's ready, but you can have that code then hidden behind, I don't know, a feature flag, which I think is a really core foundational technology idea, which allows you to decouple how fast engineering moves with how fast customers adopt things. That's one of the kind of, essentially, let's think of it as impedance mismatch between engineering and customers. Your customers and what they can adopt probably is a different speed than what your engineers can do. You actually want them to be separate. Like, think about organizational change. Can you keep up with things that are changing constantly when you're using them? No, you can't. But we want our engineers to move really, really fast. So feature flags enable us actually that they kind of sit in the middle and allow this impedance mismatch to exist and how to manage it more effectively. So you can see here, we have the opportunity to rethink the release. But I like to think about, these are potential steps, which an internal step would be all of our employees can see it, which is really, really useful. It not only helps you catch things before customers see it, it also helps your internal organization start to learn. It's enablement, it's education. If they get a month or so of extra time with a feature, just think how much better they will be at supporting customers when it's out in the field. Then there's, of course, a notion of a limited beta, which is a hand-selected, typically, set of customers to try this out. And look, these are going to be your best customers, your nicest customers, honestly, your lowest risk customers if you break something. Or maybe it's a high risk customer. Maybe it's one where, look, you're really worried about breaking them. You want to find out before you're in GA that you're going to break something, right? So maybe they're one that use your product in a unique way that you feel it's critical to help inform whether this thing is ready for the wild. So I think limited beta is an opportunity to really learn. The next open beta is your opportunity to deliver something but still declare it being not quite ready. So it's intentional. And look, the other thing I think is really important when you define these stages, define the criteria. What do you want to see before something graduates from limited release to open beta? What do you want to see when things graduate from open beta to GA? Declare it. This helps you not have things just running endlessly with no end date. So another great technique when thinking about release process is, we think about betas. I described a limited beta, which we were asking people, do they want to be in it? I also talked about an open beta where we just ship something and say, hey, it's not quite ready yet. I'm calling it an opt-out beta, which is your ability. So it's a little bit different in that you ship something, then we're giving this switch to legacy page view. And what it's saying is, hey, this is new. We know it's disrupted. If you want to go back to the old way, click here. So what's nice about this technique is that a lot of people are afraid of change. And if you ask someone, hey, do you want something new? Like, there are folks who've read the book, Who's Moved My Cheese? Like if you ask them, hey, do you want a bunch of change in your life? You're like, whoa, no, I was pretty comfortable the way things were. So you're not really getting good feedback in that particular instance, right? In this case, you're forcing change upon people, which at first may be uncomfortable to them. However, what if they just give it a quick whirl, which most people will? They're like, this is actually pretty delightful. It's actually a much better test in some instances, because what you don't want to do is we all know inertia exists in like saying, oh, these people didn't opt into like change. Like you're not testing a lot there. You're just testing, the percentage of your users who have interest in change, which isn't really a great feedback on the product itself. Now, what's cool about this is that over time, you can look at cohort analysis. As fewer and fewer people switch back to the legacy view, then it's ready to just get rid of the button and then get rid of the code for the legacy view to clean it up. So great opportunity to really rapidly test something. When you do ship something, focus on driving adoption. Like look at this UI element in this upper corner. I've got 4 or 5 icons in the American flag. If I had that 5th, and I didn't tell someone I had the 5th, would you have ever noticed it? Like, come on. It's like a light blue icon in the upper right of the product. Now, your teams may have spent months on that little light blue icon. There might be something amazingly cool behind it. But if you don't enable people on it, and you don't teach them, do you honestly think they're going to just figure it out on their own? Especially, this is one of the challenges with design. If something's really, really well designed, it kind of seems like it fits in some instances, and you have discoverability issues, right? Another topic, which I think is very interesting, is letting go, and specifically rewrites. Rewrites are the bane of most of product managers' existences. So, like, we don't like rewrites. It's a situation where you're trying to build something new, but yet people have massive amount of expectations around the old, and you're constantly chasing parity. Engaging companies create more engaged customers. So you want your customers engaged. And engagement is not we shove a lot of content to our customers and they listen. Engagement is two-way communication. And the first thing is the second you ship something, people are going to have opinions. They're going to have feature requests. They're going to find bugs. They're going to be talking to various people at your company in various mediums, email, phone calls, Zendesk, you name it. There's going to be feedback. What you want to do is you want to find a way to create a centralized repository for that. It's also important to kind of think about how are you going to prioritize this feedback. Does everyone just get a vote? And does each person get infinite voting? Everyone getting a vote would capture every single customer/user that was interested in that. Okay, maybe that's what you really care about. You want to know who everyone is interested. Now, the budget voting is nice because, look, if you ask a customer if they want 3 things, they're going to probably say yes to all 3. Now, if you say you tell the customer, say, okay, you get 3 votes, and you can put on anything. They may not put 1 vote on each item. They will put 3 votes on 1 item. They may put 2 on one and 1 on the other, right? Asking someone whether they want something, ask something, and then creating a constraint, a budget where they can only vote for 1 thing. What would they vote for to guarantee they get it? Very different question, very different prioritization, very different data. The other thing is pairwise voting is pretty cool. This is sometimes it can be overwhelming if you're asking customers like, oh, here's a list of 100 things, budget vote. And, they may give up after an hour of trying to figure out how to properly do their budgeting, right? But what if you just presented users with a consecutive set of questions of what's more important, A versus B, B versus C, A versus C, et cetera, right? You'll start to, through that process, get a more refined picture of what people prioritize. And that's a great way you can also think about building a prioritized backlog. The other thing to think about is publishing your feedback strategy. Be transparent. How do you want feedback? Do you want people just to tell you what they want, or do you want them to give you the why when they're fulfilling it? Customize the form where you're asking things. Ask them the business impact of their feature request. Ask them if they actually try to work around. These are all interesting data points that you want to know that helps inform what's going on. Then tell them what you're doing with the feedback. Tell them, hey, thank you for your feedback. This is what we do with it. This is when you expect to hear from us. This is so you can check in on the status of it. That makes the user feel good. Like, oh, that's off my plate. That feels good, right? So create this communication strategy to help customers know what's next, and then let customers help. Once you get this prioritized list, like do something with it. Put a team on it. Doesn't mean you have to dedicate 100% of your capacity to it, but just carving out some build more trust and confidence with our customers. And then again, use roadmaps as a communication tool. First off, show it internally, get buy-in, have people ask questions. And then once you get this, publishing it externally, there's a lot of value to that. And customers they're buying a company, not buying a product very often. What that means is that the roadmap where you're taking things, your vision, they're buying that. So the last piece I want to talk about is product operations, because like someone's got to orchestrate all this stuff. I share a bunch of things. And look, the product management role is already really, really diverse one. And the last thing we want to do is just add a bunch of other tasks to an already overloaded role within your org. And what's powerful, I think product operations has emerged as a new role. And look, it's not a shocking emergence. We've seen operations roles. Obviously it started probably in, started ops in like finance, but then of course we have revenue ops, which is kind of the evolution of sales ops. We have now customer success ops, we have marketing ops, lots of ops functions. Not a shocker that we now have a product operations function, but it's important because these functions, these responsibilities just fell in the back of product managers. And it's hard if something's 5% of your job. And what we want is product managers focus on working with customers, working with engineers, and building and innovating amazing product. We don't want them managing a feedback request program. We don't. Trust me. Product operations will change your life if you find a way to invest in it and empower it with both the tools and the resources to be successful. The other is this tool stack. Yeah. I started my career in CDs, state-of-the-art tools for product managers was PowerPoint and Microsoft Excel. And now we have I don't know how many categories are on this matrix, 12 categories of tools, all of which have a minimum of 10 tools in them. It's 120 tools. How do you pick them? How do you manage them? Who manages them? How do you provision them? This is an opportunity, and an opportunity for having a role that owns this, that's an expert at it. And I think there's a lot of learnings here. Product is not used to procuring software yet. But software powers the world, and it's going to power this function. So it's just a matter of time, and product operations, to me, is the owner within the department that will do that. So as you see, putting product at the center of experience means rethinking the way you deliver products. It means breaking away from the shackles of the CDs and those processes to find ways to do things different, to question those norms. Why do we do things this way? Find yourself asking those questions. So ask the question, how has your org evolved? Has this changed its practices? Has it released things? Has it managed customer feedback? Has it kept up with what state of the art is today? Who handles the tool stack for product? Do you even have a tool stack for product? So like who owns all this? Right. So this is an opportunity, of thinking about the future and how to go. And look, all this is just about figuring a way to steer through. Like when you're presented with differing circumstances and different, in this case, traffic, of course, how do you get through it? How do you change the way you work? How do you question the norm? I think these are the things that I think I want you to focus on. And with that, appreciate you having me. I appreciate you listening. Here's my Twitter profile. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Feel free to direct message me, contact me. I love to engage folks in the audience.